Children's pythons are one of the best captive snakes I think anyone could own. Being small, that makes them ideal for any age, and certainly in their colours that are available in the different species that we've got, and the different patterns and things that come in those different species, it makes for almost unlimited choice in what you've got. If you like, I'll actually show you some of those animals that I've produced, which are now part of the breeding program for the future. So here we have what people would refer to as the blonde mac, which is one of the eastern small blotch pythons from further north in their range, and so she'll certainly be part of the breeding program here. She's what you give things little nicknames, and she's almost the black pattern form for me. She's very dark in her pattern, which is great, with very light base colour, which is sort of one group of animals that we're focusing on. We have another one which I'll pull out in a second for you, which is actually chocolate in its pattern, so we get that stark difference between the two of them. And here we have the animal which has the chocolate mark as opposed to the black mark. And now let's have a look at some babies. So here we have some baby children's pythons with all their feeding information. Baby blonde macs. And also baby Stimson's pythons. Well, you spoke earlier about the different patterns and colours that we can get in the children's python group, and here's just a quick selection of 6 animals and the different colours that are in there. This guy here, this is a New South Wales Stimson's python. This one here, who's come to say hello. I'm very excited by this one. I produced this one myself, and this is what they call the patternless children's. Looks like almost like a mini olive python. Then we have a very reduced pattern children's python. So you can see that she has got a lot less pattern than this animal here. And then here's mum of one of the blonde macs, some of the blonde mac babies that we're having a look at before. And you can see with her, she has that stronger, heavier marking to her, the darker marking.
I'm Nicholas Shilko, and I'm from the Narra Wildlife Park. We breed reptiles down there, and particularly working on my maculosus line. I brought this here to show it off at the Frog and Reptile Expo here, and this particular animal won first prize in its category. The Antaresia maculosus is nowhere near as pretty as this out in the wild, and we're working on different lines. This is called what's known as a blonde maculosus, and what we're aiming to do is try and get the light pattern even lighter, and even, as you can see possibly in this one, getting a green tinge through it. So to really pale the animal down, because the original wild macs are generally quite dark, very speckly, and their colours aren't well defined. So you can see, hopefully that's beginning and is going quite well with this particular snake. Have a number of them this year that we're holding back, and hopefully they will be a few shades better than this one.
Children's pythons produce 1 clutch of eggs per year in early summer. Gravid females should be given a nest box filled with a soft, damp medium in which to lay. This female Stimson's python is young and has produced only 4 eggs. By comparison, this 5-year-old maculosus has produced a clutch of 14 eggs. Sometimes eggs may appear a bit patchy, like these. This is the result of a calcium deficiency in the female. However, in this case, it did not affect the viability of the eggs, and all hatched. As with all pythons, female children will incubate their own eggs. I suggest removing the eggs and incubating them artificially. This young maculosus has just laid a clutch of eggs and is coiled around them in the typical incubation formation. To remove the eggs, gently uncoil the snake and separate her from them. Set up the eggs in a vermiculite medium, and after 2 months of incubation at 30 degrees Celsius, they should begin to hatch. For up to 48 hours, babies may remain in the egg while they absorb their yolk sacs. The smallest of the 4 species of children's python is the pygmy python, Antaresia perthensis. It is in fact the world's smallest python and only occurs on the central west coast of Australia. I travelled there into the Ord Ranges to search for one in the wild. After 2 days and a lot of walking, I finally found one under a slab of rock. Pygmy pythons are still unusual in the hobby in Australia, and rich red coppery coloured individuals such as this are highly prized.